your eyes on the actual thing that people want, because they're trying to do a switcheroo on you. So they went from saying, oh, the Epstein files are going to be released, to the Epstein customer list is going to be released. But wait a minute, that's not the main thing. The main thing is the tapes. He's got all these folks on tape. And who hired him? Did anybody hire him?
Of a relationship with the United States, because, as Andrea Mitchell said, they just don't have the same capacity that we do.
Yeah, they're going to have to thread the needle on this one, and it leaves them in an incredibly difficult position. Andrea is totally right. They don't have the capacity to step in and fill the gap, particularly on the intelligence front. And Andrea is right. This is so consequential for the Ukrainians. It will have an immediate impact on the battlefield in Ukraine. They use U.S. intelligence to provide early warning of the drones and missiles that are striking Ukrainian cities, to help them understand the battlefield and Russian movements. And so it will have a real impact for Ukrainian lives. So now the Europeans are absolutely scrambling. They are making serious commitments to increase defense spending. We've had many announcements since Donald Trump came into the White House about significant increases in defense spending. Most recently, the German new chancellor promising a very significant and increased defense spending. So they are off to the races in trying to ramp up as quickly as possible, while also trying not to alienate President Trump, because the reality is there will be a gap in the timeline. It will take them time to move up the curve, to be able to step in and fill some of the gaps that the United States would leave. And so they do need Trump to stay in support of Ukraine and as a partner in the transatlantic community long enough that they can make this transition as smoothly as possible, in a way that doesn't leave Ukraine maximally vulnerable, in a way that doesn't leave Europe itself maximally vulnerable.
It is a tightrope to walk. Andrea Kendall-Taylor, Andrea Mitchell, thank you, ladies, very much. And coming up next, Vice President J.D. Vance is headed to the southern border to push the president's immigration crackdown. We'll look at the current state of America's immigration policy with former Obama Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson.
Our E-Trade's easy-to-use tools like dynamic charting and risk-reward analysis help make trading feel effortless. And its customizable scans with social sentiment help you find and unlock opportunities in the market. E-Trade from Morgan Stanley.
Do you have a life insurance policy you no longer need? Now you can sell your policy, even a term policy, for an immediate cash payment. Call Coventry Direct to learn more.
We thought we had planned carefully for our retirement.
But we quickly realized we needed a way to supplement our income.
Our friends sold their policy to help pay their medical bills. And that got me thinking. Maybe selling our policy could help with our retirement.
I was skeptical, so I did some research and called Coventry Direct. They explained life insurance is a valuable asset that can be sold.
We learned we could sell all of our policy or keep part of it with no future payments. Who knew? We sold our policy. Now we can relax and enjoy our retirement as we had planned.
If you have $100,000 or more of life insurance, you may qualify to sell your policy. Don't cancel or let your policy lapse without finding out what it's worth. Visit CoventryDirect.com to find out if your policy qualifies, or call 1-800-513-7100. Coventry Direct, redefining insurance.
I never really considered that there were all these harsh chemicals that were going into my biggest organ on a daily basis. Jolie is a filtered shower head, removing chlorine and other contaminants from your shower water, improving on your hair and your skin. Once I started using the Jolie, I noticed that my hair was visibly and to the touch a lot softer. It feels like a very smart decision to make if you are a person who cares about your skin and your hair. When you feel good, you look good.
Are you one of the millions millions of Americans who suffer from an upset stomach after a big meal? Try Pepto-Bismol. Unlike some products, Pepto coats and soothes your digestive system to provide fast 5-symptom relief. Stock up on Pepto today.
We've waited so long for this spa day.
Oh yeah? Shingles doesn't care. Shingles is a painful, blistering rash that can last for weeks.
We got the best seats in the house.
Shingles doesn't care. 99% of adults 50 years or older already have the virus that causes shingles inside them, and it can reactivate anytime.
Everyone's here for my birthday.
Cute. Shingles doesn't care. But Shingrix protects. Only Shingrix is proven over 90% effective. Shingrix is a vaccine used to prevent shingles in adults 50 years and older. Shingrix doesn't protect everyone. It isn't for those with severe allergic reactions to its ingredients or to a previous dose. Tell your healthcare provider if you're pregnant or breastfeeding. Increased risk of Guillain-Barré syndrome was observed after getting Shingrix. Fainting can happen, so take precautions. Most common side effects are pain, redness and swelling where injected, muscle pain, tiredness, headache, shivering fever, and upset stomach. Shingles doesn't care, but Shingrix protects. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Shingrix today.
At Wayfair, we get pretty excited about furniture. Around here, it's not a patio, it's patio.
Oh, I love those chairs.
Shed-tastic.
This rocks.
My queen.
Yeah?
Oh, I'm at the bed.
Girl, you nailed it.
No, this set, it's just a couple of screws.
They're a perfect combo. They got a fire pit.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Look at this one under eye bag. It's gone.
There's this side and this side.
50 and haven't slept in weeks. 35 and fresh from a vacation.
Have you seen these videos all over social media and said to yourself, how is that real? Well, it's real. It works in as little as 10 minutes, and these results are incredible. It's called Plexiderm, and it can change the way you look almost instantly. Plexiderm is clinically studied to help reduce the appearance of under-eye puffiness, wrinkles, and fine lines, giving you a more youthful look in minutes with results that last up to 10 hours.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Who am I?
Oh my God. I can't believe I have no lines in my face.
I'm just in love with the mirror right now.
These results are remarkable, so don't wait. Try clinically studied Plexiderm today for just $14.95. Visit plexidermtrial.com or call the number on your screen.
Right now, Vice President J.D. Vance is on his way to Eagle Pass, Texas for a visit to the southern border. Vance, as you would imagine, is trying to underscore that border crossings are down under President Trump. Joining us now, former Homeland Security Secretary during the Obama.
While the president insisted just last night that America is on the verge of a new golden age, sagging polls, the recent sell-off on Wall Street, and the outrage at recent Republican town halls may tell a different story. Democrats see an opportunity if they could take advantage of it.
We're going to push back aggressively against Donald Trump, his administration, and the extreme MAGA Republican agenda until we can end this national nightmare and bring the American dream to life for every single person in this country.
Everything the American people put their trust in him to do, it is a betrayal. It is a betrayal. So let's not talk about decorum when the plot is exposed and reiterated every single day.
I want to bring in NBC's Kelly O'Donnell, who's covering the White House. Julie Circuit is on Capitol Hill with me. In studio, former Florida Republican Congressman David Jolly, an MSNBC political analyst, and Michael Hardaway, former communications director for House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. Okay, Congressman, judging by the number of standing O's, I kept looking to see if somebody counted them. I didn't see a number, but there were a lot of them. Republicans are 100% on board with what the president was saying last night. But the other side of that is, we clearly know they're getting an earful, at least some of them are, from their constituents. So the Wall Street Journal said Trump is testing Americans' appetite for upheaval. Is he?
Sure. Yeah, look, Republicans are entirely on board, which also means Republicans own it, and they own this environment. And I think two things where last night may not have really landed, and I think we're going to see over the next 60, 90 days what happens. The American people fundamentally want a government that works, and they want an economy that grows. And what Donald Trump and Elon Musk are doing with Doge, it's not just laying off and firing federal employees, they're disrupting federal services. And at some point, the consumers of those federal services are going to say, wait a minute, I didn't sign up for this. And then secondly, Donald Trump's economy, it's now his economy, is teetering on a real backslide here. The notion of stagflation now in conversation is absolutely real based on the Atlanta Fed's model. We'll see if that occurs or not, but inflation going up and seeing the economy in negative growth territory, if we see that, Donald Trump can no longer blame Joe Biden for that, and frankly, Donald Trump is contributing to the economic uncertainty with tariffs and some of the other moves he's making. So what we saw last night was a lot of truthful hyperbole, Donald Trump's words from his own book. You can call it lies if you want. This was not the most successful 100 days in the history of the country. It was anything but. It's disrupted the most important security alliance on the world stage. Ultimately, the American voters, as consumers of this administration, are going to realize the government's not working for me, and I'm no longer economically confident like I was when Joe Biden left office. Republicans in the chamber that were giving them a standing ovation are going to own that as much as the president does.
So, Michael, if you obviously think that patience of the American people is wearing thin, or at least starting to wear thin, what do Democrats do about it?
You have to tell the story. Donald Trump came in and said he'll drive down inflation and drive down prices. He's done the opposite. Our retirement accounts are in the free fall. You got the price of eggs going up, the price of gas going up.
But he said that's because of Joe Biden.
Of course, but that doesn't matter. He's owned this economy because he said that I have a mandate and they control the government. I think voters are smart, and they're smart enough to know that this is Donald Trump's economy. When they go to the store every day and eggs are $11, that is problematic. You fill up the tank, you can't afford $4 or $5 gas, and that is a real issue here.
So, Kelly, where is the administration putting its focus now?
Well, certainly, Chris, part of what they want to do is things like getting the tax cuts that the president talked about renewed in a permanent way. He laid some of that out last night. One of the things that was striking about his extensive address to Congress, the longest in history that we've been recording these, is that he talked very little in the grand sweep of his remarks about what he needs Congress to do. There were a few instances of that, but so often this kind of a speech in the chamber, speaking to both parts of Congress, the Senate and the House, is imploring them to go along with the president to get more done. There was some of that, but not as much as we typically would do with the presidents. In many ways, the president was stitching together his first term and his new term just weeks into office and touting achievements. Part of that is certainly setting the stage for framing his own time in office. He did that extensively. Here's a part of how he took credit and claimed credit for many of the things that he is doing and tried to put a stamp on what he wants to do going forward.
It has been nothing but swift and unrelenting action to usher in the greatest and most successful era in the history of our country. And what makes it even more impressive is that, do you know who number 2 is? George Washington. How about that?
So through all of that, you get a sense of how the president has a very expansive view of executive power. And while he was happy to have the applause,
President Trump wants to ice Democrats out of this equation, especially given the fact that Republicans, however narrow, do control the House. They do control the Senate. Of course, he's in the White House. That's why you saw his ambitious plans on those reconciliation packages that would basically avoid the need for Democrats to vote for any of those funding measures for immigration, for the military, for energy. For his tax cuts, we saw Trump make a little moment there out of that to Democrats yesterday too, saying you better support us on cutting those tax cuts and extending those taxes. And look, he might need them going forward, but at this point in time, as I mentioned earlier, he's really trying to do everything he can to pass this with just Republican votes and talking about the continuing resolution to fund the government and not rely on Democrats.
Julie Cirkin, Michael Hardaway, thank you. David, you're going to be staying with us. Coming up in 90 seconds, tariff turmoil. As the president digs in, his Commerce Secretary is suggesting a
Hey y'all, quick question. What in God's name is happening around here? How is every subsequent week in this country somehow worse than the one that came before it, which was the worst one that had ever happened? Like, what are we supposed to do? We just gotta stay strong, huh? I mean, hey, you know, already 6 weeks down, so there's only 200 and some odd more to go. I am furious at math and reality right now. I feel like a Fox News papa. No, just the past few days alone, this administration has firebombed a century's worth of diplomacy and ruined our global goodwill, and they've triggered a stock market crash and an economic panic. Like, it should not be possible to be this good at being this bad at your job. Like, at some point you'd think they'd screw up the process of screwing everything up, but no, they're like the Henry Ford of ruining shit, just developing whole new methods of efficiency, right? Also, they love Nazis a whole lot. Let's see, let's see what we got. The start of our shiny new trade war with Canada and Mexico is today, which we're doing that because fentanyl is bad. I get, yeah, fentanyl's bad. I know. I grew up in the rural South during the opioid epidemic, right? And most experts now agree that a major factor with that was that it first took root in economically depressed communities filled with desperate and hopeless people. So I'm not entirely sure that we should be addressing the new super opioid epidemic by purposefully economically depressing communities and having them be filled with hopeless and desperate people. It feels a little counterintuitive to me, but what the hell do I know? Now, the official slogan of this administration should be, I mean, I knew it would be bad, but Jesus Christ, right? Like that meeting on Friday with Zelensky, which it wasn't so bad until noted round-faced cushion porker J.D. Vance had to speak up, and it went completely off the rails. Just absolutely derailed decades of geopolitics in one fell swoop. It was an absolute disaster, and yet many people on MAGA side are celebrating it. How do you can say whatever you want about American foreign policy, but one thing that always went without question was that we love us some democracy, right? Democracy and oil, baby. That's two things we'll do anything for. It don't matter who's in the White House, right? But now we're just a few short years into the most clear-cut democracy versus dictator, good versus evil war since WW2, and millions of our fellow Americans are like, hey, you know who's on the right side of that whole Russia thing? North Korea. We should be more like North Korea here, really? You want to side with the Russians and the North Koreans? You mean the villains from every patriotic action movie made in the past 60 years? How did 8 years-ish of Newsmax and Trump tweets undo an entire Cold War? Like, what the... I don't know what's happening. I mean, what would Rocky Balboa say, y'all? I ask you that. I just feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Man, we're having to sit here and watch this administration purposefully tank our own economy and just wreak havoc on the global stage. There's nothing you can do about it. It's insane. I'm thinking things I never thought I'd think before. Like, growing up, I always thought that, man, if World War III ever happens, I just hope we all make it through okay. I never thought I'd find myself thinking, man, if World War III ever happens, I just hope that America and the rest of the new Axis powers lose the fucking thing. God help us all. All right. One of the worst parts about all of this is the media coverage of it all. The way things are sane washed. It depends on the source as far as how they're going to talk about it and how honest they're going to be. And let me show you what I mean by that. Hey, y'all, we're here on Ground News' website looking at the stories about Zelensky saying his Oval Office spat with Trump was, quote, regrettable, and he's ready to work for peace. You can see the coverage breakdown here, 175 sources, pretty evenly split between left and right. Most of them are in the center. If you use down here, you use Ground News to sort by bias, and we looked at left-leaning outlets to see how they're spinning this story. It says, Zelensky calls the debacle regrettable, outlines steps to peace, quote, time to make things right. Zelensky regrets it. Down here you can see Zelensky bows to American conditions. You can see some of the left's opinions seeping through there. They're outlining the reasonability of Zelensky and the difficulty of his situation. But if you look at outlets on the right, instead it's a little different. Zelensky expresses regret, says he's ready to negotiate. Thanks, Trump. Thank you, Trump. Zelensky extends olive branch to Trump, says Ukraine is ready for peace. So, you can see here how they're kind of dunking on him a little bit, as they are wont to do. If you notice on Ground News, before you ever click a headline, you get all this extra information. You can see the bias of the outlet. You can see the factuality rating, got a mixed rating for Breitbart. It's generous. You also see where the money comes from, the ownership groups. Right, you just get more layers of context than you get from anywhere else. That's why I like Ground News. I've been working with them for more than a year now. They add that extra context to your media consumption, so you can scan that QR code or go to ground.news/Trey for more information. They got a lot of features on Ground News, though. Here's my favorite, probably the blind spot feature. This shows you articles that are not being covered on either side of the political spectrum right now, so you can see what they're not talking about, perhaps trying to ignore on the right or the left. It helps you peek outside of your own bubble every now and then, which is all too important in the times we live in. So if that sounds good to you, scan that QR code there, click the link in the description below to get 40% off the highest tiered unlimited access Vantage plan, or you can try Ground News for free. Either way, never been more important. Push back on the bias and BS. Get some context and transparency in your life. Check out Ground News today. All right, YouTube, man, we're back. Yeah, you know, that JD, well, I don't even know what the hell JD was doing in that meeting. There's no need for him to be there. There's no need for him to be anywhere. Doesn't he realize that the real president is Musk and the real meat in the room is Trump? We don't need double meat in the room doing nothing, right? I guess he realized that. That's why he had to speak up. He got tired. He got jealous of the spotlight being on Trump and Musk for all their dumbassery, and he saw an opportunity on the global stage to jump in and be like, oh, no, look, I also possess a unique talent for disastrous idiocy. No, look, hey, I can self-immolate. I can be dumb. Look at me. I can fuck things up. See? Aren't you proud of me, Daddy? Aren't you all proud of me? That's what he had to do. But it's I don't know how Zelensky held it together as well as he even did, and it was so insulting. I don't know, like the fact that he didn't bitch slap Trump makes him a better man than I'll ever be, you know, and most of us. At one point, Trump implied that he was too mean to Vladimir Putin. Imagine you're like in a dark alley and you get attacked by some dude with a knife, and while he's actively stabbing you, the cops show up and you're like, hey, get this asshole off of me. And they're like, whoa, name calling? That's a little uncalled for, don't you think? No reason to be rude here, sir. And it's like, listen, also, if you just let him finish, this whole thing will be over with soon. It's like, okay, but I'll be dead. It's like, well, that still counts as being over. So do you want to be over or not? Right? You'd be pretty pissed off at the cops in that scenario, and that's how we're treating Zelensky in Ukraine and this deal with them in Russia, and it's absolutely infuriating. And it's also happening as like, if we didn't have to be fucking up a real life war, we're also starting a brand new money war, trade war with our allies. We're like siding with our enemies and pissing our allies off left and right, and everything's just snowballing into a absolute avalanche of shit. But we got the new trade war because, and all these people that spent 4 years acting like the strongest Western economy post-COVID was still nowhere near good enough for them, and the inflation we had was completely inexcusable. All those same people are now justifying paying more for everything because what? Because like Melania made googly eyes at Trudeau once. Why are we doing this to Canada? And it's like they said, well, we got to punish these countries economically for letting fentanyl come into America, and it's like we gotta have tariffs because fentanyl is bad. It's like a fucking crazy leftist saying we need to have mandatory abortions because gun violence is bad. It's like, okay, I agree with you on that second thing, but how do those two, they don't even make any fucking, how is this going, what are you talking about? How is that going to do that, right? I don't think that the governments of any of these countries have some like fentanyl lever that they can pull and turn it. They're like, we better turn it to off. They figured us out. They've got the tariffs on us. Also Canada, dude, Canada, you can't, starting a trade war with Canada over fentanyl would be like fucking invading Iraq over 9/11. Well, never mind. We got it, you know. Bad example, good example, however you want to look at it. Still, it's dumb, it's bad, it's terrible. And also, and it cannot stress this part enough, we're not economically punishing these countries, we're economically punishing ourselves. It's just going to make things worse for us, all of us. It's going to make every day harder for every American for a reason I can't even wrap my head around. But it's like walking up to a drug dealer in your neighborhood and threatening to punch yourself in the balls if he doesn't get out of town. He's like, well, I don't understand how that would. But okay, whatever. Also, I'm an accountant. I'm not a drug dealer. What are you talking about? That's us with this trade war and justifying it on fentanyl reasons. Nothing makes sense. I'm not sure. I'm beginning to doubt that anything will ever make sense again. But, I'll still be here trying to make sense of it, or at the very least ranting and raving about the inability to do so. So thank you guys for just accompanying me on this journey that we're all on right here. And listen, I'll put my stuff up here as my special still. Gonna have a new one very, 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 very soon. And also you can subscribe to the channel. You get all these videos and my podcast and other fun things I do from time to time. And the important one to me, TreyCrowder.com. That's my website where I have dates, where I do stand-up comedy. That's what I really do. If I'm coming near you, come see me in person, live. If you like these things, you'll like that thing. It's fun. I promise you. We can all commiserate and forget together. It's a good time. Either way, if you just keep watching these silly things, I'll keep making them. I love you like chicken. See you. Bye.
have one or more symptoms, get checked out. Making that appointment can help you get ahead of stroke risk. This is no time.
This is exactly how I see it. So I think we should just proof it and...
To pay for more security, I got the cops up my ass. And I have to pay for all these orders to cut the chicken for distribution. Billy, we've got to be thinking bigger here. It's time to expand. How can I expand when 36% of our product is going to you? Get out there and sell the chicken or get lost. You've forgotten who the boss of this operation is, Eric. Yeah, well, you're not going to be around a lot longer. What is that supposed to mean? I told your mom you got an F on that social studies test. You wouldn't do that. There's a bear crap in the woods, and does the Pope crap on the broken lives and dreams of 200 deaf boys. Billy! Your father and I want to talk to you! Bye-bye, Billy. Alright, everyone listen up. I'm in charge now. Everybody got fun with that? Alright, good.
What do we want?
Bigger doors.
Where do we want them?
Weed stores.
What do we want?
Bigger doors.
Where do we want them?
Weed stores.
Look, I'm sorry, but the bill says I can't modify any existing structure. Well, I guess we could change the law to allow for medicinal marijuana to be sold just outside the door of the shop.
I don't know. Maybe the rules should be somebody can buy the medicinal weed for others.
Look, can't we skip all this and just make pot legal? Everyone is just abusing this medicinal system anyway. It's ridiculous. What's ridiculous about it? Hold on, people, please. We are all forgetting what is really an issue here. Look around. These men all have cancer. It's no coincidence that when this building changed, the rise in cancer went up. Don't you see? The KFC was keeping people healthy.
Mr. Cartman, come on. We're supposed to be handling the business. You're eating too much of the stuff. Shut up, Kevin. I'm the boss, not you, butt licker. Eric, the Colonel is on the phone for you. He sounds peeved. What? Oh, that's right. I forgot to... Damn it. Okay. Put him on speaker.
Hello? Hello?
Colonel, how you doing?
What happened?
Oh, we had some problems, you know? Colonel?
Eric, what happened?
We had a little problem.
I heard.
Yeah? How'd you hear that?
Because Jamie Oliver gave his speech at the UN today. He was not supposed to give that speech, Eric.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll get him next time.
There's not going to be a next time, you dumb sucker.
Hey, take it easy, Colonel.
I told you a long time ago, you little monkey, not to me.
Hey, who the do you think you're talking to, huh? Oh, crap.
Last November, this town passed a bill that seemed silly to some. Since then, we've had underground black markets, crime, death, and shootings. But now the bill has been repealed, and I am relieved to announce that once again, marijuana is illegal. And another bill has been repealed as well. Because ever since we got rid of KFC, we've seen a great rise in cancer. But today, we welcome back KFC and all the medical benefits it gives us. Well, I gotta admit, it's a lot easier to get inside doors with my little prosthetic balls.
Yeah, great.
Oh, Sharon, don't be upset. The doctor made you a souvenir.
Oh, Randy, I love it!
And when it gets cold, it shrinks.
Sharon, you got a scrotum coat? Yup. Lucky.
You think you're sponge worthy? All right, let's go.
right, baby doll.